I'm Grace Torrey, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Torrey, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. Today, we are going to be talking about my current hyperfixation. I try to stick to things that are, helpful to you guys and aren't just silly, goofy things. But then I remembered it's my podcast and I can kind of do whatever I want. So I'm going to be talking about ACOTAR because there's nothing else going on in my life. It is 14 degrees here today. Couldn't go to the barn to ride and I am sad. So the only other thing that's going on right now is I'm reading the ACOTAR series. So there will be spoilers. Sorry. I am currently halfway through. I'm not halfway through. I'm like 100, 200 pages into the third book, so A Court of Wings and Ruin. So that's what the spoilers will be up to. If you're up to that point, then nothing's really going to be a spoiler to you. If you are not up to that point, sorry girlie, I have to talk about it. I can't. It's it's all I think about right now. It's my current hyperfixation, and I just wanted to talk about it, okay? I wanted to talk about it with the girls, and that's what I'm going to be doing, because why not? So, yeah. I told you guys a couple months ago I started reading the first book, and I finished it, and I was like, okay, that wasn't terrible, because the first book is definitely filler. It was not bad. I would rate it like a 7 out of 10. It was not bad. It was just a lot of world building, which I enjoyed, but it wasn't suspenseful. It wasn't oh, I can't put this down. It was just oh, I'll read a couple chapters of this here and there. Now the end of it, when they get to Amarantha and all that was the part where I was like, okay. And then rhysand gets more, into it. And let me just say, I love that man. I have loved that man from A Court of Thorns and Roses, day one when he first saw her at Calamai. I was like, yes, that's the one. Now, let me give you some context. I love a dark, mysterious man. I always have. And Josh has the same characteristics. The only difference is Josh's eyes are an otherworldly blue. That blue that makes you question if they're even human. That's Josh's eye color. Whereas rhysand's are purple, a violet starlight color. Yeah, other than that, they look extremely similar. And so, obviously, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I like this guy. And I always like the villain. So I was like, okay, I really like this guy, and I knew that he was just misunderstood, and then I'm obsessed. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I personally feel like there has been a lot of self-growth for myself since reading the book. And I know you guys are like, what are you talking about? You're probably reading too deep into this, and maybe I am. But feyre and I have a lot of the same characteristics. She's kind of the person who sacrificed and did a lot for her family and always was the one protecting her family. That's me. That's how I've always been. I'm that person who would, give until there was nothing left and would literally die for my family. And then I also have a Nesta. My sister is literally Nesta, okay? The same person. So, obviously I identified with that, and some other things that are, very deep, so I'm not going to go into that. But when she kind of realized her worth, I was like, damn, I don't give myself enough credit. And I started realizing my worth. And now I'm at the point where I'm I could do a lot more than what, I am capable of so much more than I have let myself do, because I kind of just let the side of me that's super successful and ambitious lay dormant for a while I just kind of let things happen to me, was just kind of whatever, I have no control. And now I'm at the point where I'm no, I do have control. I can do whatever I want because I am so successful, I am so powerful, I can do whatever I put my mind to. And so yeah, shout out to feyre for that. Also want to put this out there, Sarah J. Maas, if you are casting for the movie, I know no movie has been announced, but obviously it's been so successful, so if there is a movie, I'm just throwing my hat into the ring for feyre. Just gonna throw it in there, I would love to do that for you. I would absolutely love to do that. That's actually the only thing I'm thinking about in my life is how I can become her. Because you know how you cast people in your head as like characters in your head as certain people? Obviously rhysand I casted as Josh, my boyfriend, so like that would make me feyre, and like, you know, I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help that I'm slightly mentally ill when it comes to these kinds of things. So I'm just saying, if there is a movie coming, I would love to throw my hat into the ring. Just put it on the list of people to audition. Would love to do that for you. Thank you. And yes, I know my hair is slightly pink right now, but she's an artist, so I feel like her hair would be pink too. You know? Okay, anywho. What else is there to talk about? I feel like I've just been like keeping all this inside because I have no one to talk about it with. Oh, we are definitely going to be them for Halloween. Josh doesn't know yet. Let me know if you think we should be them during Starlight, them when they visit the Court of Nightmares, or just them wearing Illyrian leathers. All of that in A Court of Mist and Fury was like when that was a thing. Which, that book, 10 out of 10, favorite book ever. It was just like them, their relationship, and that was a 10 out of 10. Like, I loved it, and I loved all the twists and turns. The mating bond, are you kidding me? The way that I said ain't no way, the way I did a double take while reading, you're kidding. Like, you're actually kidding. I can't. Like, actually, I'm over here, like, I just feel like a lot of my traits are like aligned. Like, I'm obsessed with the stars, not like astronomy, like I'm not trying to be an astrologist or anything, like I don't care about the science behind it, but like the constellations and like just the aesthetic of it, like literally obsessed. Like my room, I'm literally staring at my constellation posters behind me and like my view of the world that's like kind of behind the camera right now. I literally am shook, like to my core, over how many like similarities there are, you know? So obviously like I'm gonna identify with it, right? Like there's gonna be like a feeling of, okay, I found something that I relate to. Like, you know, because sometimes you read a book and you're like, I don't identify with anyone. This is a really good book, but I'm not emotionally attached because I don't identify with it. And then sometimes you read a book and you're like, this is my life. Like, if I was in a parallel universe, this would be my life. Like, I am the exact same person. I have the exact same characteristics. Like, I love the exact same things. So, that being said, I am literally, like, I am so unhinged. I'm just on Amazon, like, redesigning the decor in my house to be, like, Night Court inspired because, oh my god. How do I explain this? It's not hard to do because it's already going towards that direction. We just don't have that much decor in our house because decor is expensive. But everything is already like moody and like that vibe, except for this part of my office that you can actually see because it's based off of my old room, which was very spring court, which is kind of fitting. So yeah, everything else in our house is like very moody and like us. So it wouldn't be that hard to kind of push it a little bit further, make it more night court. So that's been my current obsession. Obviously, I don't have money to fund all of this decor, but I have been picking it out, so that's cool. I just panicking. I'm like, I don't know. All of this has made me realize that I've known that I have a deeper purpose than like what I am currently doing in my life. However, all of this has made me crave finding that purpose more than ever because I already knew I had it, but I kind of was just like, oh, it'll happen. Like, I don't know, I kind of put it on the back burner. Like, I was kind of just like, I'll let everyone else take the reins and wherever I end up is wherever I end up. But then, like, after reading this, I just kind of looked around and was like, this is not what I want. Like, I've gone so far off track of, like, what I want and, like, what I think my purpose is. And so I'm just kind of like, well, how do I get back on track? And that's where I'm just kind of at a loss. And I know that you guys are like, what do you mean? Like, it's just a book, Grace. Like, you're overthinking. But, like, maybe I'm not. Like, maybe I was meant to read this so that it puts me back on track. Like, God puts little things in your life so that you read them and you're like, oh. Or you see them and it's like, oh, that, I get it now. And so I'm really frustrated because you know how when things are meant to happen, they just kind of fall into place. That is what I'm waiting for, but obviously I don't know when that's gonna happen, so I'm just kind of like waiting. So if anyone knows what my life purpose is, I would love for you to enlighten me, you know? I wish that there was like a cereal for life, that you can just like ask, like, what am I meant to be doing and how do I make it happen? And then they tell you. I mean, that's kind of like tarot, I guess, in a way. Tarot's not very straightforward. And I really don't do tarot that much because I don't do it unless I'm like in a really good headspace, because I only want to like bring my guardian angels in to talk to them, and you have to do that when you're at a high frequency, and I'm getting a little out of hand. But you know what I mean. Also, I forgot to mention this, I think. Josh has like a big moon tattoo on his neck, and the way that I freaked out because moon, night court, please. Also, I have the star and moon on my shoulder, and I really only have tattoos on my arm, and then Josh is like covered in tattoos. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, the similarities are very apparent, and it makes me freak out even more. So yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, I just want to find my thing, like what I'm meant to be doing. I'm tired of like just sitting and waiting and kind of just being in like, I almost feel like I've been in autopilot. You know how when Feyre is sitting at the manor in Springport and like she's waiting for some, like she doesn't want to be the lady of the house and just like plan parties and stuff. Like she knows what she wants to do. She wants to have more say. She wants to have more power. And she almost feels like she's being suffocated. That's kind of how I've felt in my life. It's kind of sad to admit. Okay, we're getting a little deep. We're getting a little therapy session. And I'm just waiting for something to happen that just pulls me into like my purpose. But I just don't, because I don't know what it is. Like I know what it's not, and I know like the characteristics of what I want to do, but I don't know what it is. So that's kind of where we're at. Not me getting really emotional. The life of a 24-year-old, let me tell you. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to not get too caught up in like fantasy, and I'm trying to stay like grounded, because I have a tendency when I get obsessed with things to make it my entire personality and like all I think about, and then I get really upset because like it's literally not possible for me to be like in a fantasy world. So I'm trying to like take breaks, and I also don't want to just like read through the books super quickly because I want to enjoy not knowing, because once you read all the books you're going to know what happens for the rest of it, like the rest of your life. You're going to know how the books end. And I like not knowing what's going to happen next, and obviously like the series is over, so like once you read it, it's over. So I'm just trying to like, one, not get too caught up and obsessive and read it all in one sitting and then make it everything that I'm obsessed with and about. Like I want to stay grounded and like stay in reality, if that makes sense. And then two, I want to savor it and like enjoy it, so I'm trying to like read it in slow motion. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just sad. It makes me sad that like I don't know what I'm meant to be doing, and I haven't found like my core group of friends yet. And I'm just kind of waiting. Damn, why am I getting so emotional? See, this is why I'm like so attached, like, because I just want that so badly, you know? I got my rhysand, I just need everything else. Holy shit. I don't think I've ever been this emotional on the podcast. I think that I put a lot of walls up on here, and I want you guys to feel like my life is like amazing, because I want you guys to look up to me, because like I'm supposed to be giving you advice, but then sometimes the best advice is just me telling you that things are really hard and we're gonna get through it, and like sometimes I don't know, you know? because I started the podcast because I felt like lost and I wanted to find a community of women who also were looking for like their calling in life and were very ambitious and just felt like they didn't have anyone to talk to about it. And so that's how it started. And then sometimes I forget that like I'm figuring it out too, and I'm not just supposed to know everything. Like I'm not just supposed to like have it all figured out, because like I want to have it all figured out and I want to always have the right answer, but like I need to be more present and like aware of the fact that sometimes I don't. So yeah, I still need to take my thumbnail and I'm just literally like sobbing. I think that right now I'm just trying to be present and enjoy where I'm at, because like I know that I'm gonna miss this one day, like I'm gonna miss this phase of my life one day and wish that I was here. And I think that I tend to hold the weight of the world on my shoulders, so I don't have fun and like enjoy things. And maybe you guys can relate to that. I feel like people that are very ambitious and driven tend to always look towards the next thing, and so they achieve something and they don't even like pat themselves on the back and be like, cool, you did it. And like I think that's what happened to me, and I think that's how I kind of forgot my worth for a while, because I had accomplished all of these amazing things, but I didn't even like process that I had, or I just kind of thought it was not a big deal because of just looking towards the next thing constantly. So I'm trying to like have fun and enjoy the moment and be present, but it's just so hard when you want something so bad. Like I want so badly to just feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing and I'm where I belong and I'm wanted, and like I feel like these are my people and this is my thing, and I, you know, all those things. I just feel very out of place right now, like in the phase of life that I'm in. Like everywhere that I go, I'm just like, like this doesn't feel right. Like this doesn't feel like it's what I'm meant to be doing. And so I'm trying to find what I'm meant to be doing. And that's obviously not easy. I don't understand. Like some people just know from like the day they're born, like this is what I'm meant to do. And some people don't. And I get really upset that I don't always, or I don't know. I can't just like be like, oh yeah, this is it. And so many people around me have, like they already have that figured out and they already know what they're supposed to be doing and they're already on a career path and they're friends with the same people that they were friends with when they were 6 years old. And it's like, I do crave that, but I can't force things that aren't meant to be. Like I can't pretend that I'm in the phase of life where everything is the way it's meant. Well, obviously everything is always the way it's meant to be, but like I'm at a place where I feel like this is what I'm meant to do and this is my purpose. And I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's hard. So, I don't know. Hopefully you relate. Obviously this kind of took a turn. Obviously my life was obviously like, it started out just me talking about the book, but then it kind of swerved into how it's affected me. And I don't know, I just have very similar traits to feyre, whether that be like trauma or characteristics. And then Josh has very similar traits to rhysand, and like how he acts and why he acts the way he acts and all of the things, like his past and all of that. So it makes me hopeful that like whatever we do is going to be very aligned and we're going to have something that we feel like is our purpose, because like he hasn't found his yet either. It all just works out, but again, you don't know. Like you don't know until it happens. So yeah. I don't know. This episode was a little different than what I usually talk about, but hopefully you still found it very enlightening. Not enlightening. Hopefully you still found it, I don't want to say entertaining, I don't know, just relatable in some way, like you were able to relate to it and you felt a little less alone, or maybe you're just an ACOTAR person who like understands it. But either way, if you have any good ACOTAR like merch, I would love to know what you have. I was looking at sweatshirts and I just, like Valeris is like so beautiful and it's somewhere that I definitely would love to be, but obviously it's a fictional place, so I was looking at the sweatshirts and I'm like, this is so beautiful. I don't know. This is cool. So this is my Harry Potter, I feel like. Like, I never really had a thing that I was so obsessed with, like Twilight or Harry Potter. Like, I didn't have that. I had One Direction, but obviously that's a little different. So this is, I think, my thing that I'm obsessed with and I connect to. So buckle up, guys. But yeah, those are kind of the lessons I've learned so far. Please no spoilers if you are further ahead than me. I would really appreciate it. But yeah, that's really all that I have to say. I would love to talk about it more if you like want to talk about ACOTAR. Just like I mentioned, no spoilers. Go ahead and if you're on a platform where you can comment down below, do that. If you want to talk on Instagram, definitely DM me. But yeah, what else was I gonna say? Oh, don't forget to follow. If you are not following, I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. Don't forget to share with a friend who you think would enjoy this episode. Leave a rating and review if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and leave a like if you're on YouTube. That would mean the world to me. It literally blows up the podcast. I don't think you guys realize how much one rating will blow up the podcast, but it like pushes it to so many more people, and that would mean the world to me. So yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next podcast episode. Bye.